Hi and welcome to this very short video today where I'm going to give you a contrarian view to the Western media at the moment, talking about the Russia, Ukraine, USA, the West, the whole conflict situation, which is just pulling everyone in at the moment. Now, for those of you who know me very well, I don't need to tell you this, but for those new people watching the video today, I do not take sides. This is not political. What I'm simply doing here is just showing you some alternative data to what you're seeing in the news, in the media, which may or may not help you with your investments and with economic decisions, shall we say. So the first rule I have when investigating anything, as you've seen over the last 2 years, is to always follow the money first. So you've heard this expression over and over again, follow the money. And this is the first thing I do before I even start looking into which side said what. So of course, couple of bullet points so that I don't have to bore you for an hour with all of the details around the current conflict. The USA and the West has one stance saying that Russia is trying to just take over everywhere and it wants to conquer Ukraine and it wants to move westward and all of these things around it. Now, Russia, if you listen to Putin, he has a different stance on this, and he says that the West, America in particular, has broken the agreement that they made, and America has been spreading eastwards towards Russia inadvertently via NATO. And even though the US said it wouldn't put more weapon systems around Russia, Putin is basically saying that the US is putting all these new weapon systems in other countries, eastern countries. Romania wants to put it in Ukraine, etc. So I've just saved you an hour of research there. They are the two main points you need to understand about the conflict. But to really understand what's going on here, again, we have to follow the money. And I'm not saying this is the true reason, but I'm saying this is something for you to consider around this whole conflict as to what could be a contributing factor. So let's go to the shared screen now then. So I want to start with this chart here then, which shows the Russian trade surplus since 2001 to 2021. So this is mainly focusing on energy here, so oil, gas, other exports, etc. Russia, so the USA actually had a deficit last year, the largest ever on record, of over $1 trillion. So that means the US was spending more on imports than it was receiving on its exports, to the financial figure of $1 trillion, a huge amount. Russia, on the other hand, had a surplus last year. Now, let's look at the next point. This is major foreign holders of US Treasury securities as of September 2001. If you're not familiar, these are bonds that are issued by the US government, and they're purchased by anyone from foreign governments, which go into foreign central banks, right through to the Federal Reserve may buy these treasuries. And we can see who the biggest holders are of this debt then. Japan is the largest with 1.3 trillion. China, 1 trillion. The United Kingdom, 566 billion. And you can see how this goes down. Now, very interesting. Look, where is Russia on here? Where is Russia? Yeah, you can't see it. Why? Because this is what Russia has done. Russia dropped or dumped its US Treasury holdings, and this started in March of 2018. So that's a Reuters article, but let me just show you. This is also on CNBC. If anyone says, oh yes, but that's biased, it's an Eastern article. Well, here's CNBC, an American media company, talking about it. Treasury data shows Russian holdings of US debt plunged by 84% since that was March of 2018. Okay, so this is what you really need to look at. Why is Russia dumping its US treasuries? Why has it been doing it? And what has it been doing instead? Well, Russia has been on a buying spree purchasing gold. Interesting. Who else has been doing this? China and other similar countries have been dumping in order to buy gold instead. This chart here then, since 2012, shows how much gold Russia has actually been purchasing. So why have Russia been doing this? Why have they been dumping their treasuries and instead buying gold? That is a little bit unusual, is it not? Not really. Not if you understand economics and you understand the macro environment. The US dollar is, of course, the world reserve currency, so it makes sense, it is just sensible to hold US treasuries, unless you either want to do a couple of things. Maybe you want to stop trading oil. What does Russia specialize in? Energy. Maybe you want to stop trading oil in US dollars like Iraq and other certain countries did. Gaddafi was, I believe, the most recent example of what happened when a country wants to stop trading oil in US dollars. So, of course, Russia has been dumping treasuries, and I believe this is because they want to start trading. They're building their alliances with China and some of the other Stan countries, Kazakhstan and Uzbekistan, etc., all of the Stans. I believe they're trying to build a stronger alliance so they can trade in something other than the US dollar. And of course, if you are the United States and another country is dumping your treasuries, that is not good for your currency. But actually, and again, I'm not taking sides here, I'm just stating a monetary fact. Russia is doing the right thing in dumping their US treasuries and buying gold instead. Because in the future, with the amount of currency printing going on by the United States and with all of their trade deficits and the other problems, in the future now, however many years this might be, I believe that the US dollar will weaken, not strengthen, again, a contrarian belief. And Russia, as well as China and some of the other countries who are buying up so much gold, are going to be in a very strong position at that point when a new world currency will eventually have to emerge. We already know the Chinese digital yuan is 8 to 12 years ahead of the central bank digital currency of the United States. So I hope this video today gave you some food for thought. Again, this is not political. It's not designed to change your mind or give you an opinion on the current conflict, especially the geopolitical nature of it. It is simply a monetary stance that I'm taking here so that you can start looking into this yourself and seeing if there is anything behind this. Thanks so much for watching today. Take care. God bless. See you tomorrow.